Hi, welcome to Kremés podcast.
Podcast yang paling receh and garing, but maybe informative too, depending on the day.
You can tune into our episodes on Instagram, YouTube, SoundCloud, and Facebook. I'm T.
And I'm A.
Semoga podcast ini bisa nemenin lo.
And hope you enjoy the episode. Hi everyone, welcome to our very first episode on a new series all about food. I think it's safe to say that there's always a foodie inside everyone. And man, me and T are foodies for sure. It's like food can literally become my sixth love language, eh? With Kremés, I would like to share my passion about food and where we talk about different type of cuisine, compare dishes from different countries, or even sharing a recipe or tips and tricks to get the best experience from our point of view. As you can hear, I am truly excited about this.
For sure, I'm definitely excited for this one too. I think food brings people together from all walks of life and all cultures. I think also especially when you're moving to a new environment or a new place, terutama pasti the example orang dari Indo ke Aussie, moving from an Asian culture to Western culture or vice versa. I think, there's always going to be that sense of alienation, that sense of adapting. You may feel homesick, you may not like the food. I know when I first came to Australia, back in, the early 2000s, and when my relatives came over to visit me for the first time, they tried, typical, I guess, Australian cuisine, like fish and chips and everything like that. They weren't used to it, and they thought the food overall was bland in Australia. Kayak, pasti kalian akan relate kalau kayak, if I say, all your relatives bring packet of sambal atau botol sambal atau kecap manis atau kayak sachet bango, sachet sambal ABC gitu, and they would just bring them around in their bags or in their handbags just to total in a little bit before they eat, just because then it's not used to the flavors. So that was just a whole interesting adjustment experience for me. I think it's a relief that we just started to see a lot of Asian restaurants popping up here and there in Australia, and fast forward to now, it's really booming. Asian food trends and cultures really picking up, and it's really being favored amongst non-Asians too. I mean, I know pasti mungkin orang bule akan pikir, oh ya kita makan makan makanan Asia atau makan bubble tea or minum bubble tea, because it's an exotic experience for them. But I think it's a great way to immerse oneself in each other's cultures and learn to appreciate it. It's definitely a great sort of starting stepping stone to that whole cultural immersion.
Gil sih, gue bisa relate banget sama yang lo bilang. Kayak mami gue literally bring sambal, bukan saset lagi karena kita udah tinggal sini ya, sambal botolnya dong untuk kayak makan trips and burgers or makan steak, and I'm just covering my eyes and I'm I don't know these people. Bener sih, sometimes emang kurang gimana gitu kalau nggak ada sambal nggak sih. But yeah, I agree with what you said. It's really great that now the Asian cultures is already so in, I guess. Yeah. But also even in the office, I feel I'm culturing people in a sense. I just bring people to go to bubble tea. I bring people to get matcha latte. Even this Thursday, I'm gonna bring some of my colleagues to go to try nasi padang.
Yeah, wow.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Nice.
Yeah. Tapi sekarang hari ini kita mau talk about dimsum.
Yay!
As you can see from the title, the reason I want to talk about dimsum is because recently gue baru ngenalin dimsum ke teman gue.
Yeah.
So as I said, right, I've been culturing people in the office, right, kind of situation. Terus dia tuh kayak very very confused gitu karena tuh kayak kok ada card-cardnya gitu. Then she usually go to a dumpling place where you ordered on an iPad, and I'm I'm not gonna call names of the restaurant yet, but literally I was that's not the true experience of dimsum.
Yeah.
Kan kayak dimsum tuh lo harus kayak duduk sambil teh, terus ada si oma-omanya yang bawa kartnya around gitu kan, terus nanya mau makan apa gitu tuh. And I was just wow, I was I'm so blown away because she was also older than me, and I'm oh no, you have been missing out. I'll literally just bring her to the one place, right? And then after that, she literally went 3 times.
Wow.
In consecutively, because she just bring her sister, she bring her friend, she literally was just this is what dim sum actually is. This is how you're supposed to eat dumplings.
That's so cool. Like, definitely, it's a whole new dining experience. For me sih, like, dim sum, terutama kayak more recently di Aussie ya, it's kind of been like a family Sunday thing that we do. Kayak setiap, kayak, you know, like brunch time atau lunch time. Usually brunch because we're trying to beat the queues.
Asian Sunday roast.
Legit, like instead of a Sunday barbecue, which we do as well, but like we do dim sum a lot more. I don't know. It was always like, you know, you would work really hard, or you go to school and you study hard throughout the week, and then kind of like over the weekend we would just chill, and then every Sunday we would like make an effort to drive to the city, which which is very much like a once a week kind of thing. To just, you know, go for dim sum. And it's like literally like a family bonding time. It's kind of meant to be like a lazy Sunday activity, so there's no rush in it, even though there is, because there's like a really big queue. Tapi kayak, you know, we kind of usually last like for hours and hours, kind of just sitting down, eating, and just bonding and reconnecting with each other. It is definitely a different kind of dining experience for those who are not used to it, atau kayak belum biasa. I mean, you know, I kind of still remember when I was first introduced to it as a kid. Kalau gue sih pertama kali taunya atau kenalnya sama makanan Padang atau masakan Padang, and also like sushi trains, which is really interesting. So I got to know like sort of like the Indo and I guess the Japanese version before getting into the Chinese version. So I was used to the concept of like, kita masuk ke restorannya, kita duduk, nah pas udah di meja, you know, at like instantly having small plates and dishes of food come up right to you. Jadi lu bisa makan instantly gitu kan. But I guess with dim sum, there's like a more proper kind of ritual aspect to it. And I guess it's also very much sort of, you know, linked to its cultural aspect of, you know, sharing food is like the dining culture, and I guess sort of like the spirit and the value that the Chinese are trying to embody in this whole experience. So, I mean, I guess like when you first go into a dim sum restaurant, when you get seated, the first thing the waiter usually asks is what kind of tea do you want? And so the first thing is tea is being served, which I guess it is linked to the origins of its name, right?
Yeah. Well, before that, I really like how basically, nasi padang is the dim sum of Indo. Not to lie.
True.
Maybe like...
True, in a way.
Maybe we should just go through it, and then we can be like dim sum versions around the world. Because we got nasi padang, we got sushi train for Japan, we got dim sum from China.
Yeah.
I wonder what it is in Korean or even in like African and stuff like that. Because that would be like really, really cool.
Tapi kan kayak kalau lu masuk kayak ke restoran Korea kan, dan lu kayak pesen walaupun kayak Korean barbecue kayak atau kayak a la carte, kayak kan langsung kan pas lu duduk, lu udah pesen, ada kayak aneka acar kan yang akan keluar, kayak, you know, the little
side dishes,
the little things, which I guess in a way is kind of similar. I don't know.
True. No, but back to the thing. Like you were right. So dim sum used to be. So dim sum was originally from like the word was from, in Chinese, was Tianxin. I don't know if I'm saying it right. I'm a failed Asian, but anyway, or Cantonese dim sum. It is a Chinese cuisine. So what they prepared was like a small bite-sized portions of food served in a small steamer baskets, because most of the food are usually steamed or fried. But dim sum is generally considered like Cantonese, although like there are so many different like kind of dim sum.
Yeah.
So usually you drink it with a tea. Yeah. Because I think like this is what I vision it to be, but I don't know if it's right or wrong. But I thought that like, because the actual main goal is to talk and to drink tea. So actually the siomai, the hakao, all that stuff like that we eat was actually supposed to be like a side dish.
Right.
Like, because you're sitting here, therefore here you go if you want to eat. And like usually it's kind of like breakfast kind of thing, right? But it's really beautiful to know that in Chinese, dim sum literally means a light touch on the heart, which is like, you know, that's what the food is to us.
So
delicious,
poetic.
sweet or savory dishes. I know, right? And so the I guess like you kind of hear either dim sum or yum cha, but they're kind of interrelated, because like yum cha is like the traditional Cantonese brunch, I guess, and and it was like, I think it was discovered because people drink tea a lot at that time, and because the tea helps with like digestion, help with like, kan biasa kayak denger gak sih kalau di Indo, ini nih abis makan tuh itu tuh minum teh buat bakar lemak gitu. Well, I guess there's some truth to it. Tapi ya lama-lama mulai ditambahin kayak kan orang udah pada duduk yang tadi gue bilang udah pada duduk minum teh, jadi kayak tambahin ini ada snack tapi snacknya tuh kayak siomay, terus kayak dumpling gitu. Tapi kayak I think that makes sense karena kan kita kayak lihat dimsum tuh makanannya kecil-kecil ya, kayak cuma 4 biji satu mangkok atau cuma 3 gitu-gitu. Jadi sebenarnya bukan harusnya jadi makanan berat sih yang gue tahu. Cuma ya karena kita mungkin orang Indonesia atau karena kita suka makan, jadi literally dimsum is like lunch or dinner. Like it's not even snacks anymore. But yeah, the whole experience was supposed to be sitting down, you talk to your friend, you exchange stories, kayak curhat, kayak ngobrol-ngobrol gitulah, kayak ngobrol-ngobrol cantik gitu, and it could take for like 2 hours or like more than that with family or friends. Tapi jujur aja sih, kalau gua, like, we literally demolished it in like 30 minutes. Like, we would order it and then we finish. Ya, bener banget, udah kayak beres 30 menit, terus kita yang kayak, terus sekarang ngapain? Ya udah, I guess minum teh untuk membakar lemak gitu-gitu terus. But yeah, I think like they have a lot of tea, right?
Yeah, they do. Like, I think that's like the first, I guess like, you know, the first thing you start, right? It's like, I never, like, when you sort of said the whole concept, like, was it Tianxin or Yamcha, which is like drink tea, you know, I never really got to know that history aspect. So that's so cool to really understand that, because I'm not from Hong Kong, and my Chinese is even rustier than yours, to be honest, but I actually find that I do pick up quite a bit of Chinese and Cantonese when I go to dim sum. Like, just learning the words, you know, like learning what each dish or each tea is called. And usually, because, you know, there's like endless queues, when you go to like a dim sum that is usually good. So it's usually, you know, like one of us has to go and get a ticket to queue first, or has to, you know, go in first to like nab the table while the other one parks, or the other one finds parking or something. So usually I'm the one that gets designated to get the ticket and sit on the table first. So usually I'm the first one there, and then the waiter usually comes up to me, and, you know, usually goes, do you want some tea, or 你要什么茶, or, you know, whatever. And then so I usually pick up like, you know, the Chinese, although very poorly, I would say, you know, different kinds of tea. So usually you've got like the signature black tea or Hong Cha, or like some people really like pu'er tea, pu'er cha, or like oolong, Mo Li Hua cha, which is jasmine, or even like chrysanthemum, which is Chu Hua cha. So it's, you know, there's a whole lot of variety, and I think I slowly pick it up, even though like when I try to say it in Chinese, the waiter would look at me weird and be like, oh, that just give me some jasmine tea. But it's a pretty wholesome experience in that sense. And, you know, like as you said, I'm a total foodie. I love really getting into the details of each dish and like dissecting its ingredients. And I know some dishes have like cultural meanings or symbolisms or like historical, you know, like origins, which I'm sure if you guys are interested, like you can just Google it. But I find that really cool because it really allows me to appreciate the food that I'm eating that much more.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I think like just the concept of it, like, I think that's why like dim sum is such a comfort food for us. Karena kayak it reminds us of family. It reminds us of like you know, just talking to friends and family, just sitting there drinking tea, eating the food and stuff like that. And I think I'm actually like really interested now that you mention it, because kayak mungkin siomay itu sebenarnya ada ceritanya. Karena kan kayak banyak Chinese cuisine atau Chinese etiquette yang ada cerita belakangnya gitu loh. Kayak gue inget banget kayak even the simple things, kayak kalau misalnya kita lagi di Yamcha, yang anak muda harus tuangin teh ke orang tuanya.
Bener.
Itu udah pasti. Jadi kayak even dede gue juga harus tuangin ke orang tua gue. Dan orang tua gue tuh gak pernah tuangin teh sendiri karena emang tradisinya gitu. Bukannya karena mereka gak mau, tapi emang tradisinya gitu. Dan even ketika gitu pun kayak kita kayak ketok meja kan kalau misalnya udah penuh gitu, kayak kita bilang thank you. Itu tuh sebenarnya ada story-nya gitu, teh. Jadi kayak ya jadi tuh ada story-nya lagi di mana kayak katanya dulu tuh ada raja. Ini jadi kita sorry ya, kita go on tangent, tapi it's still about dimsum. Enggak, tapi nah so like jadi dia tuh ada seorang raja kan, terus dia tuh pura-pura jadi prajurit. Terus dia makan barengan sama prajuritnya. Dulu kan kalau raja tuh harus makannya terpisah gitu. Makan sama prajuritnya. Jadi ketika terus rajanya tuh malah serve prajuritnya gitu. Jadi ketika dia tuangin tehnya, prajuritnya kan nggak bisa langsung berlutut kan untuk bilang thank you gitu. Karena dibilangnya kan rajanya lagi kayak apa in disguise gitu kan, lagi apa menyamar gitu kan. Jadi all they can do is just tap 2 of the knuckles on the table. That looks like someone is kneeling. That's why it's like a thank you. So like that's where like the whole story begins. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. And I remember like hearing all this story when I was eating dimsum gitu kan. Tapi benar sih kayak what you said was right. Like for us like Chinese Indonesian or like Chinese apapun, kayak like we calculate or like we settled our level of Chinese by if we can order in dim sum restaurant in Chinese. Literally that's how I feel. I'm like auntie, show my ika, and I'll be like so proud of myself.
That's all
like,
you need to know.
That's the thing that I will just like exactly. You just say whatever the food is, and you just say ika, which means one, and then you just say that to every single food that you want to get.
Exactly.
But because we both of us are like really, really love food. I want to know, do you have any tips and tricks to get the best experience di dimsum?
Right.
Kalau buat gue sih ya, first gue harus ke tempat yang benar. Jadi contoh, in this case, dimsum yang ada cart-nya ya, gengs. Kalau kalian ke tempat dimsum, gak ada cart-nya, itu sedikit meragukan. Kecuali kayak tempatnya tuh kecil banget, terus kayak jadinya semuanya nggak ada cart gitu, tapi tetap mereka tuh steam gitu. Jadi jangan beli yang kayak buji pakai iPad gak jelas dan overpriced. Nah terus karena gue merasa itu tuh kayak otentik gitu loh, jadi kayak ngerasa beneran special aja gitu. Dan please kalau kalian makan dimsum pasti ngantri, itu mah udah pasti banget ngantri gitu. Jadi kayak jangan langsung dishearten atau jangan langsung kayak ngantri males gitu. Jangan karena kayak you gonna miss out, like you should enjoy it. Tapi karena kalau orang nggak ngantri berarti nggak enak gitu aja.
Benar.
Tapi kalau mau ke tempat dimsum, gue mau ngerekomenin please order dimsumnya. Jadi itu maksud gue tuh kayak jangan ke tempat dimsum terus lo order kayak fried rice atau lo order kayak chicken noodle gitu jangan, karena kayak mereka tuh pasti specialize tuh di dimsumnya. Emang pasti mereka jual yang lain, tapi tuh kayak nggak akan seenak dimsumnya gitu. Sayang aja kalau misalnya kalian pergi jauh-jauh ke tempat dimsum tapi cuma buat makan sayur-sayurnya gitu kan. Tapi apalagi ya, kayak dimsum tuh gila sih, emang sih enak banget sih. Terus kayak ada beberapa terus kalau mungkin buat gue tuh ada beberapa menu yang menurut gue tuh kayak staple ya dimsum banget. Jadi kayak kalau gue ke dimsum gue pasti harus mesen siomay, hakau, ceker ayam atau chicken feet, terus Xiaolongbao.
Wow.
Sama fried squid. Itu tuh udah harus. Kalau belum makan itu, berarti gue belum makan dimsum gitu loh.
Gila.
Aduh, sumpah jadi lapar.
Bikin gue ngiler nih.
Aduh, kita belum sarapan. Tapi itu beneran sih, itu enak banget dan kayak worth it banget. Tapi emang sih disclaimer ya, usually kita harus nanya sih. Jadi kayak dimsum tuh mostly prawn, tapi juga ada porknya, jadi ada babinya. Jadi kayak mending nanya dulu aja kalau misalnya ada yang nggak bisa makan shellfish, kayak misalnya alergi ke udang gitu. Karena temen gue juga ada sih yang alergi udang gitu kan. Atau ada yang nggak boleh makan babi atau nggak boleh makan pork. Maybe just ask first what's inside it, karena that's like easier, right? Kalau lu apa, Teh?
Tapi juga selain babi dan udang juga those yang alergi kacang, peanuts. A lot of Chinese cuisine includes or has traces of peanut or peanut oil, so just be aware of that because they use a lot of nuts, I guess, for like different things like that. Kalau gua favorit pesanan favorit gua bener kayak lu siomay, Xiaolongbao, hakao juga. Interestingly enough, like, well, my parents would always order chicken feet and all the spicy stuff. I am so weird that, like, I am Chinese Indonesian. I do not like spice. I will not consume anything spicy at all. Like, I'm such a wuss. I don't even know. I'm sorry that I am not a true representative of my cultural background, but I have I have literally zero spice tolerance, so I'm sorry for being a wuss in that space. But I take pretty much anything non-spicy. So my favorites besides that are, I don't remember the Chinese name for it. I know the Canto name, which is la sao bao, which is the molten salted egg yolk dumplings. And a lot of places they would serve it steamed, and then like once you break the bun open, it's like this gooey golden, it's like a chocolate lava cake, for those of you who know that. But instead of that, imagine it's a white bun and it's like a salted egg yolk custard.
Salted egg yolk.
Which I guess it's like, you know, in first description might not sound as appetizing, but like it's amazing for those of you who have that interest. So definitely check that out. I really like lo mai kai, which is basically like a sticky rice, wrapped, like, well, I think it's like
kayak bacang lah ya.
Yeah, kayak bacang. Jadi sticky rice with like meat and like nuts and like I think there's like some kind of dried fruits in there as well, and then it's wrapped in a lotus leaf, and then it's steamed. It's really cool. Apalagi ya, I really like hotie, which is like pot stickers or gyoza, but like the Chinese style one, and they serve it with like the pink vinegar, which is so good. I love that flavor. And chong fan, which is like the rice rolls, I guess, and then you can have different fillings inside, which is like you can have like prawn filling inside, or for those of you who will know what chakwe is, which is like the fried dough.
That's the one that I like the most, the chakwe
that's
one.
a really good one. They basically create a fried dough and then they wrap it with the rice sheet, I guess, and then just eat it like that. It's just so good. But I think it's so like good. You said that, you know, I totally agree with you. Kalau lu mau, you know, makan dimsum, harus ke tempat yang ngantri karena itu jamin yang enak lah gitu ya. And then also, like, you know, you're going to a dim sum restaurant for the experience of dim sum, right? Like, while they do serve a la carte and other options, you're there for the dim sum, so go enjoy the dim sum. Juga kayak kalau kalian pesen a la carte, pas lagi waktu dim sum, it's probably likely that the a la carte food will come a little bit late. Like, because, you know, like, the kitchen is so busy doing dim sum, like, you know, they might not have, like, the time to sort of dedicate to a la carte. But most Chinese restaurants offer dim sum as, like, a brunch or lunchtime offering. And then they do a la carte only for dinner. But I know there's lots of places out there, just like nowadays there's this popularity of, like, all-day breakfast restaurants. There are places that do all-day dim sum. So, like, there's two ways, you know, there's different ways to suit people's dining preferences. But I must say, like, I have seen people ordering a la carte alongside dim sum too, just for the fun of it, I guess. I think it's like, aside from that, I can sort of give a quick rundown on, like, the etiquette around eating dim sum for those of you who are interested, for those of you who are still newbies or interested in discovering dim sum. I guess the best way for you to enjoy the full experience of dim sum is to do a bit of Googling beforehand and just sort of understand the history, but also kind of like the Chinese culture, like how to do it. Because I know, like, if you're in actual China, like, people would, like, rinse the teacups and the eating bowls first with, like, boiling water or boiling tea. It's kind of like a cultural habit. But obviously that's not done, like, in most restaurants. It's already, like, udah bersih gitu. Jadi lu nggak usah kerjain itu. But that's, like, the tradition, I guess. And then, you know, like you said, like, going for dim sum is all about spending that time with friends or family. Jadi kayak, you know, I do get it. It's like, you know, a lot of people, they take their time from their lunch break, just have a quick one, but traditionally it's meant to be that bonding time. And then, you know, where you take time to drink the tea first and then eat and then drink the tea after gitu lah ya. with a lot of dim sum dishes, you're gonna eat things that may have bones or may have shells. Because like one of my other favorite sort of orders is some restaurants, they serve soft shell crab, deep fried soft shell crab, which I absolutely love. Technically, you can eat the whole thing, but sometimes you may have like remainders or something. And that's why there's like plates. So like usually in a typical dim sum setup, lu akan dikasih teacup, satu piring kecil dan satu mangkok kecil lah ya. Jadi kayak mangkok nasi gitu, like a small rice bowl, and then you get your chopsticks. So usually you eat everything from your bowl, and then you leave the plate for like bones and those shells kind of thing. That's how I was kind of taught to do it. It might be different. Who knows?
I do it the other way.
Oh really? You can do it. I guess it's preferences. There's other way. Mungkin karena gue terlalu kayak kebiasaan makan pakai mangkoknya, karena usually I have nasi inside. So like I eat everything with the nasi. So I don't know. Maybe that's just my habit.
Yeah.
So basically it's either
maybe
one,
that's
right?
the right way. Maybe that's the right way, because I remember if I order bubur, then you were right, kayak bone-nya semuanya tuh di piring.
Yeah.
Tapi kalau gue nggak order bubur, baru bone-nya semua gue taruh.
But that's a good point. Like you mentioned bubur because it's like congee or porridge, rice porridge is sometimes also served in dim sum, which is as like a starter as well. It's interesting. Yeah. Different ways, however you do it, but at least just use either one. Don't mix it up, basically. Also, I guess the chopsticks, eat everything with chopsticks. Never use your hands. So pakai, karena gue orang Indo juga ya. Gue dari kecil kebiasaan makan pakai tangan, terutama karena I was raised with Padang food. So it's like gue suka kebiasaan, especially kalau kayak it's like a fried dumpling where you can literally just pick it up, dip it in the mayo, and then just shove it in your mouth. I get so used to using my fingers. But, that's not the etiquette. You have to kind of use everything with your chopsticks. And, if you really need it, obviously ask for a fork. But it's always best to try with a chopstick, right? And, it's my pet peeve, and I think it can be a little bit offensive. Never stab a piece of food using just one chopstick. Do your best to hold the two. It is definitely a whole new experience learning how to use chopsticks, but that's for another conversation. But they would always I think Chinese people would definitely appreciate you at least giving it a go.
Iya, benar banget. Yang terakhir tuh gue setuju sih, karena kalau nggak salah itu they only do that in funerals, ya nggak sih? So so just be aware when you go to dim sum restaurant. But it's so good. That's such a good tricks and tip.
You said that the whole thing with the funeral, I think that's true with chopsticks and the whole symbolism behind it, which I think is an interesting compare and contrast between, like, I guess there's a similarity in Japanese culture as well, like place your, like, there's like an alignment, like in Japanese culture you never place the chopstick vertically, as in like directly kind of facing another person. You have to place it like in a horizontal alignment or something like that. But I guess in Chinese culture, never place your chopsticks directly into your food or rice bowl because this is only done in funerals. I think that's sort of like I don't know. Gue dengar sih kalau kayak custom orang Jepang ya, like you can't face chopsticks directly to another person because it seems as if like you're about to stab that person or something. So I guess it really ties in with like what you said about funerals. So that was an interesting point that I just wanted to mention.
We'll discuss that more when we talk about sushi, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah. No. But yeah, I think I heard that before, that like, you shouldn't just just like stab your food with it, even though it looks funny, but please try not to. Tapi ya bener, dimsum tuh kayak kalau kita ngobrolin dimsum tuh kayak nggak bisa habis. Cuman ini untuk mengakhiri kita punya episode hari ini, let's just say what our favorite dimsum. Mungkin bisa jadi recommendation buat yang belum pernah cobain dimsum, atau mungkin juga bisa kayak orang kayak, oh iya, gue juga suka sama yang itu. Tapi jujur ya, kalau buat gue sih, my favorite itu tuh Xiaolongbao, which is nice. This, jadi kayak dumpling, terus dalamnya tuh ada daging, gengs. Terus tapi dia tuh dalamnya ada supnya. Jadi tuh kayak nggak cuma dumpling doang yang kering gitu, dalamnya tuh sup. Jadi tuh kayak literally lu harus gigit dulu atasnya, terus seruput like you just drink the soup first, you slurp the soup first, you seruput the soup first, baru lu makan semua dumplingnya. Itu gila sih, itu enak banget sih.
Yeah, there's a whole ritual with eating xiaolongbao,
It's
right?
a whole ritual, exactly. Tapi kayak sama juga gue suka banget sama bubur pitan atau century egg kongi. Gila sih, bubur hitam tuh enak banget. Apa maksudnya bukan bubur hitam, bubur pitan itu tuh enak banget. Tapi yang salah satu yang gue bikin kayak so amazed, ternyata tuh pitan, kan kalau orang Indo ngomongnya telur pitan kan.
Yeah.
Ternyata itu tuh dari paitan, which is pai is 100, tan is egg. So paitan, 100 egg, which is the century egg.
Right.
And I'm like, mind blown. But yeah, like itu enak banget. Kayak kalau misalnya kalau gue makan bubur pitan tuh kayak udah comfort food banget.
Yeah.
Kalau gue lagi sedih, kalau misalnya gue lagi capek atau gimana pun gitu tuh, gue pasti kayak mom dad kita makan dimsum yuk. Itu gue pasti order bubur pitan. Kayak itu tuh gimana ya? Kayak membuat suasana hati tuh jadi lebih nyaman dan lebih happy dikit. Terus kayak kapanpun lu makan tuh bisa, kayak dimsum tuh bisa breakfast, bisa lunch, bisa dinner, bisa supper, bisa. Mau lu sekarang ngambil afternoon tea lu yang dimsum juga bisa. Kayak aduh gila itu enak banget sih. Tapi kalau lu apa teh? What is your favorite? Sorry.
Gila, lu
I get
kayak
promosi,
lu promosi bubur pitan sama Xiaolongbao ya.
Marketing
lu bikin
level
gue
aman.
ngiler nih. I think it's no, I totally get I totally resonate with your passion on Xiaolongbao. I think I like it because the whole ritual of properly eating it, like even though it delays the time that food goes into my mouth, it's like it's added time for me to like really enjoy the moment. Like I feel that I have to do it.
Yeah.
I have to take that moment to bite the top, slurp the soup, add maybe a bit of ginger and soy sauce, and then eat it before I can like fully enjoy it. So I really like the whole the whole performance of it, I guess. I'm a huge Xiaolongbao fan. But for me, kalau kayak sebenarnya kayak comfort food atau kayak I guess I call it like a cheat day meal. Do you know those sesame balls? Like the deep fried sesame balls that like sometimes they contain red bean or like green bean filling inside, but like even the empty like the non-filled ones, like it's literally just fried dough covered in sesame seeds. It's so bad, but it's so good. It's literally like empty nutrition. But it just brings a smile to my day.
Gitu.
Kayak beneran kayak onde-onde gitu. I think it's just like I grew up with that. I would like even outside of dim sum restaurants, like I would just like see street vendors, di pinggir jalan back home in Jakarta when I could just like, ask like the abang to like, fill up a plastic bag full of that onde-onde. So like, I think it's just reminiscent of my childhood memories, which I really like. But yeah, they do serve that a lot. I mean, dim sum restaurants. But also the egg tarts. I really love me some egg tarts, especially the ones that are freshly baked with the flaky crust. And then like, when you bite into it, it's like it's melting in your mouth. And it's so good.
It's so good. Even better, you can even talk about durian mochi.
Oh, yes. For those of you who like durian, or for those of you yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But durian mochi is like the closest to a fresh mochi that we can get in Australia because it's kind of fresh inside. But oh my god, I love durian mochi.
I guess it's like that's a very unique dish though. Like it's cuman khas kayak tempat tertentu gitu, and like not everyone has it. But I think that's a good point that you mentioned because it's worth checking out different dim sum places. Don't just limit yourself to one place.
That is so
because
true.
Beda tempat ada beda khas lauknya lah gitu. Like I've seen places that have like mango pudding shaped in like a koi fish or something. Or like you said, durian mochi, or like yam puffs shaped like swans. So it's really cool. It's worth checking out all the places, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. You can never go wrong with dim sum. But then again, still go with the one with the card. Thank you very much. But yeah, tapi gila sih. kayak ngomongin dimsum tuh jadi pengen makan dimsum banget. Sumpah, gue jadi bener-bener pengen makan dimsum banget. Dan kayak, should I go for dimsum today? I'm like contemplating, I'm like thinking about it. Tapi hopefully kalian enjoy dengerin episode kali ini yang rada berbeda banget. Tapi you can definitely know that this is our passion. Kita suka banget sama food. Dan hopefully buat kalian yang gak pernah makan dimsum, abis ini bisa kayak interested untuk nyobain.
Yep.
Dan kalau misalnya yang udah pernah makan dimsum mungkin bisa relate untuk apa yang kita omongin dan bisa kayak iya gue juga suka yang itu, atau kalian even kalau misalnya kalian punya ada sesuatu yang kalian lebih suka, makanan favorit kalian, like I wanna know, I wanna see, please write it down in the comments, let us know, karena kayak gue juga pengen banget nyobain yang baru, karena kemarin itu gue baru nyobain yang prawn and chive dumplings. Itu enak banget sih, dan gue yang kayak kenapa gue nggak nyobain ini lama banget, jadi itu kayak mirip kotye tapi di steam teh.
Yeah.
So I was like, wow,
mind blown.
This tastes so good. I know. Jadi, yeah, like hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. This is truly one of my passion and would love to do more of like different cuisine. Kalau kalian juga ada sesuatu yang kalian misalnya kayak, bandingin dong kari-kari yang ada, atau misalnya bandingin dong katsu, atau nggak bandingin dong ini apa itu, kasih tahu aja, and we will be more than happy to talk about food because we love food so much. Tapi kalau misalnya buat kalian yang ada di Perth, untuk ini sebagai tips and tricks terakhir dari kita, dimsum place yang enak ada di Canton Lane, which is di Belmont. Itu enak abis, dan dia tuh kayak punya bukan anak sih, kayak sister restorannya itu ada Canton Bay. Nah itu tuh ada di City ada, di Carousel juga ada.
Yeah.
Jadi itu untuk all of them, is like north, center, and south of Perth kalau kalian mau. Atau kalau misalnya yang emang south banget, Yamcha House di Willetton juga enak sih. Itu kayak really small, tapi okay lah, it's good enough for food. Tapi emang sih kalau mau the best, Canton Lane, Belmont, that's so good. Kalau di Indo, yang gue pernah makan, banyak sih, gue sering makan, tapi yang kemarin banyak orang bilang enak, lagi booming, enak tuh katanya Winheng ya. Winheng yang ada di Peak, dekat-dekat Pluit situ. Katanya sampai ngantri, dan gue kemarin pergi emang ngantri sih, tapi gue cuma makan berdua kan. Nah kalau itu gak apa-apa karena dia gak ada card, tapi dia tetap di steam dan dia tetap enak. Jadi disclaimer, itu enak sih. But yeah, Ted, do you have anything else you wanna add before we go?
I haven't been back to Indo for some time now. Jadi kayak I don't even remember where our fave dim sum places are, or even like kayaknya like the last time I was back kita belum makan dim sum deh. Kita cuma makan kayak makanan like a la carte gitu. So like I'm gonna check out Wenheng next time I'm back home. But yeah, honestly, like this has been such a fun conversation to talk about. It's just one of our many food pursuits, and we're so excited to just sort of venture into this whole concept and it's in this series. But now you're just like making me so hungry, but it's like nighttime here, so I'm like, no, I should not. But I'll definitely be dreaming about dim sum and all its wonders, and maybe, I don't know, maybe tomorrow if I'm not lazy, I'll go make some dumplings.
Ooh, that will be so good. But yeah, like we can talk about food all day. But yeah, thank you everyone.
Thanks for listening.
We'll see you on the next episode.
See you guys.
Bye. Thank you for listening.
Jangan lupa like, comment, and subscribe, and share it with your friends.
I'd love to hear from you. Please reach out with your comments, stories, and even questions on what we should talk about. See you in the next episode.
Bye. Dah.